Good evening, YouTube. This is Hardball Crazy. Tonight I'm doing a video contest response for Cuban Collector. This is my first ever response video. I probably should do more of them, but giving my support to Cuban Collector. Jonathan, he's always been active in this community. He's a good asset, and he's enjoy his channel, and he's always active and commenting other people, so I'm here to support him more than anything else. So he asked a few questions, so here I am answering those questions for him. First question he asked, well, what was the last subscription you did? Mine was, I last subscribed to Oakland 915. He's doesn't have many, he's relatively new, doesn't have many videos, but he collects Oakland A's, his main PC. His love of the hobby comes right across from his videos, so I appreciate that, and he's very supportive of my my channel, his comments all the time, so I had to subscribe back to him and support, as well as doing his about supporting each other and doing all that. So that's my last subscription I did. The next two questions: whose collection do you love, and what #1 card from another YouTuber that you want to have? So I'm gonna kind of lump them all into one. It's hard to wind it down to ones that each and every one of you have. No matter what size collection you have a high price one, a low budget, modern, news, all you guys got such unique collections, great collections. Every video you show, there's this one card and it's like, ooh, I like that card, ooh, I want that card. So it's hard to say, wind it down to one collection. But I guess if I have to, I'm working on my vintage Hall of Fame, so enough said cards and his old Babe Ruths from 1916 and T26 Ty Cobbs and such is the kind of ones I'm most envious of right now. So that's my answer for number 2 and 3. But every week, each one of you have awesome collections. Each of you's got great cards, and I love watching all your videos. Number 4 is favorite Christmas movie. For me, it's got to be Christmas Vacation. I grew up in the 80s with National Lampoon's Vacations and Chevy Chase comedies, so that's for me has got to be #1 movie. Highly quotable. Love those movies. Loved Chevy Chase back in the day. And the last question is, since he's Jonathan emphasis on Cuban card players, so he wants to show off some of my Cuban PC. So I just grabbed a few cards off my PC for Cuban players, and I'm going to show you off to them. Jonathan, I hope you appreciate them. First of all is probably my all-time favorite player from Cuba is Luis Tiant, 75 Kellogg's card. I have his rookie card, but I want to show the 75 Kellogg's with the Red Sox because it's where he's almost famous for. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. I think he's more deserving of some of the other pitchers out there. Love the Kellogg sets. The 75 one's a little harder to find because I believe this year, most years the Kellogg sets you were able to buy them in the cereal boxes, plus they had a mail offer. This year, the 75 one, they only offered the cereal boxes, didn't have a mail away offer for the complete set. So this set is a little harder to find. Plus the 75 Luis Tiant's the year the Red Sox went to the World Series, and that epic World Series against the Big Red Machine, and El Tiante was forefront of the American viewership in the World Series, and it's wind up and pretty awesome. When I buy bigger pulls of the recent years of a Cuban players is a Yoenis Cespedes jersey card from the Topps Holiday Edition. This is from 2017. Always liked Cespedes. When the Tigers played him with Oakland in the playoffs a few years, Cespedes was always the one I feared the most because he's always seemed to be the most clutch player. He was a Tiger for 1 year, made the All-Star team as a Tiger. I hope he gets healthy and stays on the field because baseball always could use stars like him. Field flamboyant, never know what's going to happen. In any sport, you always like to keep the stars on the field and healthy. So I'm hoping Cespedes has a healthier return. Another big pull. I once in a great while I buy those Fairfield repacks. Buy packs of at Target. You get old packs and kind of group together, maybe some commons and stuff. I bought one of those at Target about a year or so ago, and a repack of 2013 Topps Update, and I pulled out a Yasiel Puig rookie card of an image variation. I don't very ever pull these variations, so this big glove Puig card is kind of cool. It kind of matches his personality. He's always fun-loving. Always do some crazy things in the field, always smiling, doing whatever. He's kissing bats, moving, wagging his tongue around. Who knows what the hell he's doing out there. So this big glove variation is kind of a cool card of him. Kind of matches his personality. One of my first favorites, Cuban defectors in the mid-90s was always Livan Hernandez, Florida Marlins. I always enjoy the power pitchers, power starting pitchers. This is the 96 Topps Finest Gold set, rookie card. The gold was one of the rarer single short prints. And probably my favorite early Cuban defector, got me really interested in watching, anticipating the next guy that comes defects from Cuba in the MLB was, I enjoyed watching him play. Too bad he got hurt. His career's quite short, but every time I was kind of going home, turning on ESPN and Baseball Tonight, hoping for some highlight reel plays of him, and I'm rarely disappointed. It was Ray Ordonez of the Mets, shortstop. He made some crazy plays down the field. I loved watching him play. This is the 96 Select Certified Mirror Blue. This is not his actual rookie card. His rookie card is a 95. You know, this has got a rookie logos on and stuff. This is my only Select Certified Mirror Blue, so I had to find one of these for my collection. These are actually rarer than the 93 Finest refractors, but they're not quite as rare as the 96 Select Mirror Golds. Blues are like the second rarest, and then there's a Select, and then there's a Mirror Reds. They're a little more common than these. It's like great looking card. I love the blue with the blue Mets jersey colors. I've always enjoyed Ray Ordonez. Fun fact is that if you know your baseball history and Cuban players coming over and defecting, you'll know that Rene Arocha was the first pitcher to player to defect over here, and kind of started to open up floodgates. But he was not the first player in the Castro era to defect as a established baseball player. You know, you had like Canseco and Palmeiro came over during the era, but they were basically kids and children, so they didn't really have established baseball careers. The first one to ever do it was back in 1980 in Barbaro Garbe. He came over in 1980 in the rather lift boat in 1980 with the color Matilla or Matilla. I don't know if I remember the name. Rather made major news back in the day in 1980 with Jimmy Carter. Kind of got some backlash with Cuban defectings came over. He was part of that, and he is a part of the 84 Tigers World Series team. This is the 84 rookie card of him. He only played in the MLB only a few years, but he was actually the first established player to defect from Cuba years prior to all the modern day players. So this is kind of a nice, interesting footnote. Plus, he's a 84 Tigers. Bless you, boys. Last two cards I'm going to show you are I bought last summer. I got to thinking, you know, there's before cash became power in Cuba. There, you know, players like Tony Perez, Antonio Oliva, Camilo Pascual, Luis Tiant came freely from Cuba to U.S., but once the Bay of Pigs happened and trade embargoes and Castro became in office, he being a huge baseball fan, he wanted to keep all the baseball players into Cuba, so he outlawed any players coming from over here. Then when the mid-90s came out, defection, but between them, that era, there had to be some star players there who could have been stars here, but because, you know, prior and post, there's a lot of stars, and so I did some research and trying to figure out who was the best players in Cuba to never play in the MLB or Negro Leagues, like Juan Mendez or Martin Diego. So I came to the conclusion that the best player to ever play from Cuba to never play in the MLB in the Castro era is Omar Linares. Third baseman. Power, he did it all. Played the 80s and 90s. This is set from the 94 Cuba Deportes. Cuban Collector did, I think, a box busting of this set. Linares was all accounts, a superstar there. It says the bio started the Cuban national team at age 17. The kid is one of Cuba's most complete players with a phenomenal 373 lifetime batting average. His career home runs is 275, RBI is 76. Great walk to strikeout ratio. Great hitting average. So he's possibly the greatest player in Cuban history under the Castro era, but we never heard of. I have about 8 or 9 guys from the set who are basically, I kind of figured out and did research that were stars of Cuba, so I had to pick those up. The only thing note, if you keep in mind, is that look at the stats and stuff like that. These Cuban players, these in their league and stuff, they use aluminum bats a lot, so some of the stats might be not as good as you might think they are, but still, nonetheless, they were great players. One other player I want to show you from that set is Lourdes Gurriel. He's just Ulises Gurriel's father, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. of the Blue Jays. I picked that up when the Gurriel signed with the major league teams, so I thought it'd be cool to have the whole family, cards of the whole family. He was a legend of his own in Cuba. Remember the 92 Olympic teams, lifetime 321 average. I have probably about 7 or 8 more of players from this set. There's a couple more I kind of want looking at getting to, but right now I got pretty much the ones I know are the best players from that set. Also in this set is Rolando Hernandez and Levon Hernandez cards before they were in the major leagues. There you have it. That's my collection, my little Cuban collection. Go out support Cuban Collector. He's a good guy. He supports everybody else. I think you should all check his channel out. It's good times, and good luck to everybody in the contest. Thank you, and have a good night.